The Nike Waffle has had plenty of different iterations over the past few years. We're talking material changes, collaborations, and even utilizing Nike's Crater, the eco-friendly material. And this most recent one is a winner in my opinion. So let's take a look at today's pair of sneakers, and of course that is the Nike Waffle One in the Summit White colorway. So here we go, a very simple unboxing experience. You're getting the all over red and white Nike box. And of course, I'll give you a look at that size tag. Of course, anybody who's interested, have a look. But let's pop these open and let's see what they are all about. I am actually quite excited about this pair of shoes. It is definitely a cool looking pair of sneakers. So here we go. Today's pair of sneakers, the Nike Waffle One. So here it is, and you know what, let's just get the obvious out of the way. This clearly does have a lot of similarities to the Sacai collaboration on the LD Waffle, and of course I think that's why there is a lot more popularity to this specific version of the waffle. But I mean, you can't argue with that. It looks very clean and it's a lot more attainable. Not only does it look similar to that Sacai sneaker that we saw quite a few years ago, but it also has pretty similar materials. The Sacai's roughly cost £500 to £600 on the resale market, and this one you can actually pick up for the low retail price of £90 here in the UK or $100 if you're out in the US. And these released just the other day on May the 20th, so it is a pretty new sneaker model that I think has got a lot of people excited. So this exact colorway is called the Summit White colorway, which I actually think is my favorite. It's pretty clean, and damn, this is a really solid summer colorway, which is what we're supposed to be having right now. Currently in the UK, it is not feeling like summer whatsoever, but they did also launch alongside this one some other colorways, and of course a Nike by You or a Nike ID, which allows you to create a lot of really interesting colorways, which you can actually create some that look very, very similar to the Sacai collaboration colorways, if that's something that you're into. So like I said, these share a lot of similarities to the Sacai, not only in looks but also in material. So you are getting a mix of suede and mesh material. The mudguard is covered in a suede material, which again is a Summit White or kind of off-white color. The actual feel of the material is definitely just okay. It's nothing insane when you're feeling it, but it definitely does the job. That same suede extends up onto the eye stays and around the back. Generally speaking, in terms of the construction of this shoe, it keeps it pretty minimal and pretty simple. As for the transparent mesh material that you find pretty much as the base layer, it's of course around the medial and the lateral, and of course that toe box. They've done something with this that I'm actually a pretty big fan of, something that they didn't do on the Sacai's or other mesh variants of the Waffle sneaker. This version has reinforced this mesh material with a secondary fabric material, so you can see that is covering the toe box. That secondary reinforcement material is a huge plus to me because one, it's not a straight up window into your feet, and two, it's going to make this shoe a lot more durable. Now, of course, they do still utilize that transparent mesh. You got a straight up window on the medial and lateral side, so of course you can still have the different colored sock flex with this pair of shoes. As for the actual mesh material itself, it feels pretty plastic. I think that's kind of the material they went with. And if you move around to the back of the sneaker, you get another element of plastic in this kind of white heel counter. Now, one thing that I did find as kind of my main problem with this pair of shoes is, generally speaking, the ankle area. You can see this material is all over raw edged, and it's something that I found kind of rubbed against my ankles. Now, this is something that you can find an easy solution by wearing longer socks. However, if you wanted to wear ankle socks, shorter socks, invisible socks, you may find that like it just rubs, maybe causes blisters. So it is something to just keep in mind when you are looking out for this pair of shoes. The midsole comes in a kind of generic cushioning system. It's not that soft or springy. However, generally speaking, I don't find this an uncomfortable pair of shoes by any means. It's generally speaking quite light and generally comfortable, but don't expect anything super great in terms of the cushioning technology. If you flip it over to the bottom, of course, you get what this shoe is named after, and that is the iconic waffle traction pattern. This one is a very slightly updated version from the OG waffle pattern, so you will find some very minor differences with this one, but in all honesty, it feels like a waffle traction pattern, and it's pretty much the exact same thing. And when it comes to sizing, I would actually say potentially go a half size down. I did find personally that I did have a little bit of room in the toe box. It's nothing that I'm too upset about, and it is generally speaking a more narrow pair of shoes, so if you are more wide-footed, I'd say go true to size. Overall, you know what, guys, I think this shoe looks really good on foot. Like, I was wearing it around and I was immediately sold just based off of the looks. Again, this only retails at £90, $100, so it is generally speaking a steal. If you missed out on the LD Waffle, the Sacai collaboration, this is definitely a good alternate. And of course, if you just like this model in general, you liked any of the previous versions or iterations of the Nike Waffle, I think you are going to like this one. Definitely a cool pair of summer sneakers that I'm happy to have in the rotation. But listen, guys, that is pretty much it for the Nike Waffle One. Let me know what you think about this one. Are you gonna try and go and create some Sacai colorways on the Nike by you? Let me know down in the comment section. But of course, that pretty much wraps it up. I want to thank you so much for coming through, hanging out for yet again another video. Thank you for liking, commenting, and of course subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next one, but until then.